All right, so are you ready to tackle a question that's got the whole crypto world buzzing? Can XRP actually hit $100?
It's a hot topic, that's for sure.
We're diving deep today with some sources that offer both bold predictions and some much-needed reality checks.
Sounds like a recipe for a fascinating discussion.
We've got an article from Token Metrics exploring XRP price predictions and a post from Binance Square highlighting some experts who are really bullish on XRP.
Always good to hear from both sides.
Absolutely. So let's sift through the hype and figure out what you should consider when pondering this triple-digit dream.
You know what I find fascinating? It's how this question really digs into what's driving the crypto market. Is it just pure speculation, or is there substance behind these price targets?
That's the million-dollar question, or maybe we should say the $100 question in this case.
Well put.
But before we get lost in the frenzy, let's do a quick recap for anyone who might be new to the XRP game. What exactly is XRP, and why is it causing such a stir?
Sure, XRP is the native cryptocurrency of the Ripple network. Essentially, it's a system designed for those super fast and cost-effective international money transfers.
So it's like a bridge between different currencies.
Precisely, smoothing out all those wrinkles in cross-border transactions.
Okay, so no more waiting ages for money to crawl across borders. I can see the appeal.
Right.
But XRP has also had some pretty wild price swings over the years, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Remember back in 2018 when XRP hit an all-time high of $3.84?
Yeah, that was a crazy time.
It was a wild ride for sure, fueled by that overall crypto boom. These days, it's hovering around 50 cents, a far cry from those heady days.
So quite a drop. But even at its current price, XRP has some heavy hitters in its corner, right?
You're absolutely right. XRP has snagged partnerships with some big names in finance, including MasterCard and Bank of America.
Wow, that's impressive.
It really suggests that some major players believe in XRP's potential to disrupt the global financial system.
Okay, so we've got the tech, the partnerships, and a history of some pretty dramatic price swings. But let's get to the heart of the matter. Those price predictions, our sources are throwing out some pretty eye-popping numbers.
This is where things get interesting.
For sure.
Some analysts rely on technical analysis, studying those historical price charts to try and predict future movements.
Makes sense. So what are they seeing?
Well, one analyst, never wishing on TradingView, believes XRP could reach $33 by the year's end.
That's a pretty big jump from where it is now.
It is, but that's nothing compared to some of the other predictions we've seen.
Oh, you tell.
Analyst XRP Johnny predicts XRP rallying to a whopping $589 by 2025.
Whoa! $589. Now, that's what I call aiming for the moon. But let's get real for a second. Is that even remotely possible? Our Token Metrics article seems to be tapping the brakes on those mega bullish predictions.
And rightfully so. To reach $500, XRP's price would need to increase by, get this, mind-boggling, 100,000% from where it is now.
100,000%. That's
Yeah.
insane.
It is. We're talking about a market cap of over $26 trillion, more than the combined value of Apple, Microsoft, Saudi Aramco, and Alphabet. It'd have to become a financial titan, basically dominating the world's money supply.
So basically, for XRP to hit $500, it would have to take over the world. Okay, maybe let's scale it back a bit and focus on that $100 target. That seems a bit more achievable, right? What are the experts saying about this in our Binance Square article?
Well, opinions are pretty divided, actually. We've got some folks like Coach JV, the CEO of 3T Warrior Academy, and YouTuber Levi, who are absolutely convinced that $100 is within reach.
They sound pretty confident.
They are. They're urging investors to jump on board now before it's too late.
Wait a second. Didn't we just establish that a massive market cap would be needed for XRP to even come close to those high numbers? How do they square that with their $100 predictions?
That's where Armando Pantoja, another market commentator featured in the Binance Square post, comes in. He throws a curveball, arguing that concerns about market cap constraints might not be as big of a deal as some people think.
So he's saying forget the math. XRP to $100 is happening regardless. What's his logic there?
He doesn't completely dismiss the math, but he believes other factors could come into play that could potentially override those market cap limitations.
Intriguing. So we've got some shouting to the moon and others raising some valid concerns about those market realities. Where does that leave us, and what should our listeners be thinking about here?
I think the takeaway is this. Predicting cryptocurrency prices, especially with a volatile asset like XRP, is a complex game. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of those bold predictions, but it's crucial to approach them with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Definitely sound advice. Don't bet the farm on any single prediction, especially in the unpredictable world of crypto. But even if XRP doesn't hit $100, Are there other factors that could still make it a worthwhile investment?
That's a great question, and one we'll definitely explore. But before we do, let's talk about something called the Commodity Channel Index, or CCI, which our Binance Square article highlights. This technical indicator hints that XRP might actually be undervalued right now.
Undervalued. You mean even with all this hype and speculation, XRP might actually be a bargain? Tell me more.
The CCI is often used to identify overbought or oversold conditions in a market. And according to the article, XRP's CCI is flashing a signal worth paying attention to.
Okay, you've got my attention. What's this signal telling us, and how does it relate to XRP's potential?
The article points out that back in October, XRP's CCI dipped to Main of 100, a level that's historically been a strong buy signal.
Very falling.
And what happened next? A massive rally that took XRP from 50 cents to almost $3 in just a couple of months.
So they're saying history could repeat itself. If the market conditions are right, we could see another major price surge.
It's certainly a possibility, but remember, there are no guarantees in the crypto world. But this CCI indicator adds another layer to the XRP puzzle, suggesting that its current price might not reflect its true potential.
All right, so we've got wild price predictions, market cap realities, and now this intriguing CCI indicator suggesting XRP might be ready for a breakout. I'm already feeling like I need a spreadsheet just to keep track of everything.
Haha, it's a lot to digest for sure. But that's the nature of the crypto beast, isn't it? Always evolving, always throwing curveballs.
And that's why we're here, to untangle the complexities and help our listeners make sense of it all. But before we get too deep into the weeds, I think it's time for a quick breather. We'll be back in part 2 to explore more insights and expert opinions on this fascinating and potentially lucrative cryptocurrency.
You know, what strikes me about this whole XRP discussion is it's so easy to get caught up in the price predictions and the hype, but we often forget about the underlying technology.
Yeah, and the real-world problems it's trying to solve.
Exactly.
We've been throwing around these huge numbers. But what's the real story behind XRP?
Well, that's where Ripple comes in.
Right, the company behind XRP.
And they're not just focused on creating a speculative asset. Their goal is to revolutionize how money moves around the world.
Especially when it comes to cross-border payments.
Right.
Okay, so it's more than just making a quick buck for investors.
Exactly. They're aiming to make international transactions faster, cheaper, and more efficient. Think of it as an upgrade to the systems we're stuck with right now.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
No more waiting days for a transfer to clear or paying those hefty fees.
Exactly.
But why do we need a cryptocurrency for this? Why not just improve the systems we already have?
That's where the disruptive power of blockchain technology comes in. Traditional financial systems rely on a chain of intermediaries, each taking their cut and adding to the time it takes for a transaction to go through.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that pain before.
With XRP and the Ripple network, you're cutting out those middlemen and creating a direct link between the sender and the receiver.
So it's like a direct flight instead of having multiple layovers.
Exactly.
Makes sense. But if XRP is all about real-world utility, why is there so much emphasis on its price? It seems like everyone's obsessed with whether it'll make them rich.
That's the interesting paradox of the cryptocurrency world. While XRP has this incredible potential to transform global finance, it's also become a hot commodity for speculation.
So it's kind of stuck between its practical applications and the speculative frenzy of the crypto market.
That's it, exactly.
So how do we reconcile those two sides? What should our listeners be focusing on when it comes to XRP's price potential?
It's crucial to separate the hype from the fundamentals. While those $100 predictions are attention-grabbing, the real value of XRP lies in its ability to disrupt the financial industry. To understand its price potential, we need to look at the factors that could influence its adoption and growth.
Okay, so let's dig into those fundamentals. What are some key things that could influence XRP's price, both in the short term and long term?
Well, in the short term, market sentiment plays a huge role.
Right, how people are feeling about it.
Exactly. Right now, there's a lot of bullishness around XRP, partly driven by those eye-catching price predictions.
The fear of missing out, or FOMO, as they call it in the crypto world.
Exactly. But market sentiment can be fickle, influenced by news, trends, and even just plain old fear and greed.
So those short-term swings might not tell us much about XRP's long-term prospects. What should we be paying attention to for the bigger picture?
One crucial factor is regulatory clarity. XRP has been in a legal battle with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for years.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that lawsuit.
It's a pretty big deal.
What are they even fighting about?
The SEC claims XRP was sold as an unregistered security.
Meaning,
Well, it gets into some complex legal territory, but basically, a security is considered an investment contract where people are putting money in with the expectation of making a profit based on the efforts of others.
So the SEC is saying Ripple was selling XRP like it was stock in a company, promising investors they'd get rich if XRP took off.
That's the gist of their argument, yes. Ripple, on the other hand, argues that XRP is a currency, not a security.
Okay, so like digital cash.
Exactly. And they argue it shouldn't be subject to the same regulations as traditional securities.
Got it. So this case could have huge implications not just for XRP, but for the whole crypto industry, right?
Absolutely. If the SEC wins, it could set a precedent that classifies many cryptocurrencies as securities, subjecting them to much stricter regulations.
Didn't we talk about how clearer regulations could be good for crypto?
We did. It's a complex issue. Some argue that increased regulatory clarity could attract institutional investors who are currently hesitant to enter the crypto market. They see it as too volatile and unpredictable right now.
So more regulations could mean more stability and acceptance by the mainstream.
Potentially, yes, which could ultimately be a good thing for the industry, but it's a balancing act for sure.
Okay, so regulatory clarity is a big one.
Yeah.
What else should we be keeping an eye on?
Well, even if the regulatory hurdles are cleared, XRP still faces competition from other cryptocurrencies and payment systems.
Right, it's not the only game in town.
Exactly. The crypto space is incredibly dynamic and competitive. New players emerge all the time, and existing ones are always innovating.
So XRP can't just rest on its laurels.
Not at all. Its success will depend on its ability to adapt, improve, and stay ahead of the curve.
So what else?
Another critical factor is mass adoption. For XRP to reach its full potential, it needs to break free from the niche world of crypto enthusiasts and become something people use in their everyday lives.
So we need to see people actually using XRP to buy their coffee, book their flights, pay their bills.
Exactly. That's the kind of mainstream adoption that would validate XRP's value proposition. And we are starting to see some promising signs.
Like what?
More businesses are accepting XRP as payment, and Ripple is actively working to integrate XRP into existing financial systems.
So it's slowly but surely making its way into the real world.
It is.
But let's be honest, a lot of people are probably more interested in whether XRP will make them rich than whether it can revolutionize global finance.
I get that. The allure of striking it rich with crypto is hard to resist. But as always, it's crucial to approach any investment with caution and a realistic mindset. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Solid advice. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement, but there are risks involved. But even if those $100 dreams don't pan out, it sounds like XRP still has a lot going for it.
It does. It's a story that's still being written, full of potential and uncertainty. Whether XRP becomes the future of global finance or just another chapter in the crypto saga remains to be seen.
Well said. And as that story unfolds, we'll be here to break it all down. Separate the hype from reality, and help our listeners navigate this ever-evolving space.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the Commodity Channel Index, or CCI.
Right. That indicator suggesting XRP might be undervalued even at its current price.
Yes. And it's worth taking a closer look at because the CCI has a history of accurately predicting major price movements for XRP.
So it's more than just a random blip on a chart.
Exactly. The fact that XRP rallied significantly after its CCI dipped below -100 in October suggests that this indicator can provide valuable insights.
And you mentioned the CCI is currently hovering around that same level again. What does that tell us about XRP's potential?
It's a signal that shouldn't be ignored. While no indicator is foolproof, the CCI is hinting that XRP might be poised for another breakout. Of course, other factors will play a role, but this is definitely something to watch.
Okay, so we've got regulatory clarity, competition, mass adoption, and now this intriguing CCI indicator all on our radar. Anything else we should be watching when it comes to XRP?
One thing that often gets overlooked is the influence of what are called whales in the crypto world.
Whales, like the giant creatures in the ocean.
Not quite, though their impact can be just as massive. In the crypto world, whales are individuals or institutions that hold huge amounts of a particular cryptocurrency.
Ah, I get it. So they're the big fish in the crypto pond.
Exactly. And when a whale makes a move, it can create waves throughout the market. If a whale decides to buy or sell a large amount of XRP, it can significantly impact the price.
So we need to be on the lookout for these whale sightings. How do we even track their movements? Do they have special tracking devices?
Not exactly. But there are tools and websites that monitor blockchain transactions and can identify large movements of XRP. It's a bit like watching for ripples on the surface of the water to see if there's a whale lurking beneath.
So whale watching is another essential skill for any crypto enthusiast.
It's definitely something to be aware of. Whales can be both a blessing and a curse. They can drive up the price if they're buying, but they can also cause major dips if they decide to sell.
Sounds like you really need to be on your toes in this market.
That's the nature of the crypto market: volatile, unpredictable, and full of surprises. But that's also part of what makes it so exciting.
All right, so we've got a lot on our plate. Regulatory clarity, competition, mass adoption, the CCI, and now whale watching. It's like a crash course in XRP fundamentals.
It is. And we're just scratching the surface.
There's always more to learn.
Always. There's a whole universe of information and insights to explore when it comes to XRP and its potential.
But before we get lost in the weeds again, let's remember what this deep dive is all about. That $100 question.
Right. Will XRP hit $100?
The question on everyone's mind.
And after all this discussion, are we any closer to an answer? Do we have enough information to make an educated guess?
What do you think?
I don't think there's a simple yes or no answer. As we've seen, there are so many factors at play, many of them unpredictable.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean we can't make informed decisions based on the information we do have.
Right. We've learned about the technology, the market dynamics, the potential risks and rewards. Now it's up to our listeners to weigh those factors and decide what they believe.
That's the beauty of the crypto world. It's decentralized, democratic, and it empowers individuals to make their own choices. There's no central authority dictating what's right or wrong.
So whether you're a seasoned crypto trader or just starting out, the key is to stay informed, do your research, and trust your judgment.
That's what this deep dive is all about. We're here to equip you with the knowledge and insights you need to navigate the crypto market and make the decisions that are right for you.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive, but we're not done yet.
Right. In Part 3, we'll explore some of the more controversial aspects of XRP and Ripple, including accusations of centralization and the impact of those legal battles.
That's a side of the story that's important to understand, especially if you're thinking about investing in XRP.
So stay tuned for Part 3, where we'll dive deeper into the complexities and controversies surrounding XRP and try to uncover the truth behind the hype.
All right, we've explored XRP's potential, the tech, the partnerships, but no deep dive is complete without addressing the elephant in the room.
You're talking about those controversies and criticisms that always seem to follow XRP around?
Exactly. It's important to look at the full picture, even the parts that might make some people uncomfortable.
I agree. Transparency is key.
So let's get into it. One of the biggest concerns we've touched on is that ongoing legal battle between Ripple and the SEC.
Yeah, that lawsuit has been casting a shadow over XRP for years now.
Creating uncertainty and raising questions about XRP's future. Okay, for those who need a refresher, what's at the heart of this legal battle? What are the two sides arguing about?
Well, the SEC claims that Ripple sold XRP as an unregistered security.
Which means?
It means they would have violated federal securities laws. It gets into some complex legal territory, but basically, a security is an investment contract.
Okay.
Where people are putting money into something with the expectation of making a profit based on the efforts of others.
So the SEC is saying Ripple was selling XRP like it was stock in a company.
Right, promising investors they'd get rich if XRP took off.
Gotcha. And what's Ripple's side of the story?
Ripple argues that XRP is a currency, not a security. They say it's used for real-world payments, facilitating transactions, and doesn't represent an investment contract like traditional securities.
So they're saying XRP is more like digital cash.
Exactly. And they argue that it shouldn't be subject to the same regulations as those traditional securities.
I can see how that distinction is pretty important. If the SEC wins, it could have massive implications, not just for XRP, but for the whole crypto industry, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A ruling in favor of the SEC could set a precedent that classifies many other cryptocurrencies as securities, leading to much stricter regulations. And that could potentially stifle innovation and slow down the adoption of cryptocurrencies as a whole.
But haven't we also discussed how clearer regulations could actually benefit the crypto industry in the long run?
That's the other side of the coin. Some argue that increased regulatory clarity could attract institutional investors who are currently hesitant to enter the crypto market. They see it as too volatile and unpredictable right now.
So more regulations could mean more stability and mainstream acceptance.
Exactly, which could be a good thing for the industry as a whole. It's all about finding that balance.
Right, the balance between innovation and investor protection.
Exactly.
Okay, so this SEC lawsuit is a big deal. What else is there?
Another point of contention surrounding XRP is the level of centralization in the XRP ledger.
Wait, I thought cryptocurrencies were all about decentralization.
In theory, yes. The ideal is a system where no single entity has control, where power is distributed among a network of users. But in reality, there are varying degrees of decentralization.
And that's where XRP gets criticized.
Exactly. Critics argue that Ripple holds too much control over the XRP ledger.
Really? How so?
Well, they point to the fact that Ripple owns a large portion of XRP tokens and has the ability to influence the network's development. They say it's not as decentralized as, say, Bitcoin, where control is more widely distributed.
So are they saying Ripple could manipulate the price of XRP?
That's the concern. This perceived centralization has led to accusations that Ripple could manipulate the price or even censor transactions if they wanted to.
That sounds pretty scary. What does Ripple say about all of this?
Ripple has repeatedly defended themselves, saying that the XRP ledger is decentralized and that they're committed to its long-term success and independence.
So who's right?
It's important to consider both sides and understand that this is a complex issue, with valid points being raised by both critics and proponents of XRP. Ultimately, transparency is crucial, and Ripple needs to continue to be open about their operations and their vision for XRP to build trust within the community.
Okay, so we've got this legal battle and concerns about centralization. How do you think these controversies will impact XRP's future?
It's hard to say for sure. The outcome of the SEC lawsuit will undoubtedly have a major impact one way or another, and whether XRP can overcome those concerns about centralization and gain wider acceptance remains to be seen.
A lot of unknowns.
There are. But even with these challenges, XRP still has some undeniable strengths.
Like its potential to transform global payments.
Exactly.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, that's for sure. We've explored the potential, the challenges, the controversies, and all that wild speculation surrounding XRP.
We have. It's a complex and evolving story.
And at the end of the day, it's up to each individual to decide what they believe about XRP's future.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. Do your own research, question those assumptions, and form your own opinions.
That's what we're all about here. Providing you with the information and different perspectives so you can make informed decisions.
Exactly.
Well, folks, we've reached the end of our XRP deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little bit entertaining.
We sure did.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of cryptocurrency.